Just when you got an Ahri with Guardian Angel frontline and think you are safe, here comes a guy with an adjustable stick and a rapid fire cannon. Wait, what? You got an extending stick, why do you need a laser for? Come on Wukong, you can't keep all the good stuff for yourself. Hey guys, and welcome to another best comps video guide. Today we're gonna be taking a look at BONKEY comp carry or Vanguard Mystics featuring the monstrous 3-star Wukong, newly buffed Sen, and the stupidly OP Divine Power. The build did great on Mortog's 4 vs 4 Madness finals, win streaking the whole game and only lost to Aegon's 3-star Ahri, 9 mages high roll. So if you guys are interested in learning how to Shaolin monkey style fight, stick around. We'll talk about general playstyle of the comp in early, mid and late game stages, leveling, items, comp specific positioning and general tips and tricks that can make the difference when you play this build. Make sure you use this comp as it's super easy and super effective once you hit chosen Wukong for some free LP. Before we dive in, if you like this kind of guides, take a second to subscribe, like and hit the notification bell just so you know when I upload new videos. Early game. The general idea is to economy throughout stage 2, keeping the absolutely necessary units in order to hit the gold thresholds and start slow rolling right after cracks to 3-star your Wukong, Thresh and Jaina. Wukong will be our damage carry while mana items go to Jaina. Loose trick and open fort works too, since the atomization for this build is a bit strict, so you want a recurve bow from opening and another from first carousel, but we will discuss more about item choices in the atomization section. You need chosen Wukong for this build to work, but either Divine or Vanguard is acceptable. I wouldn't force this comp unless I had chosen Wukong or a bunch of Wukong copies by cracks. As for the starting carousel, you always want to go for recurve bow. Perfect Wukong builds require 2 to 3 bows depending if you go rapid fire plus Winshaw or just Winshaw melee. The early game is pretty straightforward. You pick up all Wukongs, Garens, Threshes and Jainas without ever touching the leveling button in order to get to 3-1 with 50 gold and start slow rolling. Using Garen and Thresh is an exceptional idea if you have chosen Vanguard Wukong, since 4 Vanguards on stage 2 are very tanky to counter easily. If you got the Divine variation, you can go 2 Vanguard, 2 Divine using Jax and you finish your level 5 board with a backline Jaina shielding everyone. Just remember that it might be a good idea to open 4/4's loose trick the early rounds so that you get the items you need from the first carousel. You can use tank items on Garen and transfer to Sejuani once you hit her, or go for 3-star Garen and keep him until the end of the game. On the first carousel, your goal is to complete one of your main carry's core items. Alternatively, feel free to slam a tank item to Garen or a blue buff on Jaina that will help tremendous on your stage 3 survival. As for more info about the items, we'll discuss each carousel later in the video. Stick around. Mid game. After cracks, optimally you should have completed some of your core items and the comp should be stable. If you found Sen, that's even better since you can have both Ninja and Mystic if paired with Jaina. For the duration of the mid game until stage 5, you will be slow rolling for Wukong, Jaina and Thresh and leveling like crazy once you hit all 3. If you find yourself losing, you can dip into your economy to 30 gold to finish your 3 stars or abandon 1 or 2 with Wukong being the only prerequisite and start leveling to get to level 7 and roll down for your 2-star 4 costs. After Wolves and the 2 mid-game carousels, you should be looking to complete all 3 of Wukong items and maybe some tank items for Garen or a blue buff for Jaina. Jaina is completely busted right now since her mana is intended to be 60 and not 50 that is right now on live, so abuse her while we still can. Since you are gonna be out leveled and most of the lobby will be already at level 7 and roll down with some crazy 2-star 4 costs, you need to be aggressive with positioning, changing Wukong sides every fight to ensure he doesn't get crowd control to death and use mid shields so he ramps up his Winshaw and stand for the win. Wukong does not fear assassins or Sage, since in most cases he usually turn to them and kill them. The item strategy for mid game is fairly simple. Complete your carry items and seek some defensive options for your tanks, with Morello making Sejuani except from a stun machine a secondary damage and anti-healing carry. As for leveling, by the end of mid game you should be at least level 7 with either 4 Vanguards, 4 Mystics or 4 Divine. The 4 Divine spike is actually really strong and you should utilize it without delaying if you got yourself the Divine variant of chosen Wukong. Late game. This is where the fun begins. You should be level 8 by now, even if that makes you poor, since you really don't have to hit any vital pairs anymore, and both your frontline and your Wukong should look strong. The main goal here is to finish synergies. You should be win streaking at this time, so getting back to 50 gold shouldn't be an issue. If there are no high roll 3-star 4 costs, level 9 should be within your reach, but is not at all needed. At level 9, you should add Listen and either drop 4 Vanguards for Divine if there aren't many attack based comps in the lobby, or drop Mystics for it if there is no magic damage. From that point on, it's mostly about positioning with this comp, especially protecting Wukong so he gets to ramp up and strategically placing Listen where he can kick a vital pawn off the map. At the full item carousel, I would aim for Kayn items, since he on 2-star provides a way to access the stacked late game carries and to destroy carries like Aphelios with his Mana River type skill that prevent him to ramp up Quinso and Turret before Guardian Angel is activated. Due to the diversity of this build, being able to drop anything according to the needs of the lobby, you can slam in any 2-star 5 cost to counter the late game boards and deprive them of their vital 5 costs such as Set for Brawler Ass and Kayn for Spirit Jets. Item wise, you should be itemizing your 5 cost at the moment. Itemizing a red Kayn with sustain items, for example, is a great idea since he can attract and soak a great deal of damage while delaying everyone's ulti. Positioning. This is how you should position with this comp early game. At this point you shouldn't change too much, 2-star Wukong should be able to deal with Assassins and Sage, just keep him near Jaina so she assists him after the first tank seals. In the mid game you should position like this. Remember that in the mid game is where most of the non-slow roll builds get their power spike, and since this set is all about crowd control, you should be switching position every turn to ensure that Wukong doesn't get stuck on crowd control in order to ramp up and clear the board. In the late game, we have all sorts of options. I will just name 2 of them without considering the 2-star 5 cost that you can implement. So let's look at how the Vanguard comp will look at level 8. As mentioned, a Kayn is optimal for level 9, so get him on board as soon as you find him, since his early form is a bit lackluster until he gets bumped up after 3 rounds. The Mystic variation will look like this. Items. The itemization is really 50-50, with Wukong getting all the offensive and Sejuani or Galen 3 getting all the defensive items. Wukong requires a Guinsoo Rage Blade, with second most important item being Rapid Fire Cannon. Deathblade, IE, QSS, Bloodthirster are all good options for third item, even Giant Slayer against Brawler Elderwood lobbies. Other itemization targets are Sejuani with HP items and Morello. Red Kayn makes good use of self-sustain items like Gangblade, GA and Blue Buff that you can get from late game full item carousels. Tips and tricks. Now let's see some tips and tricks that help you transition this A tier build into a first place. There are many Moonlight contesters right now. That means that your odds of finding Wukong, if uncontested, have skyrocketed this patch. Only one in the lobby will manage to get the 4-star Aphelios. Keeping Aphelios in the bench in mid-game can ruin their day, so keep it in mind. Don't try to hard force this build, since if you are contested or can't find the chosen Wukong, you go straight to bottom 8. Once Aphelios 4 is in the lobby, even in low health, he goes straight for first place. If you wanna counter him, your best bet is Shroud. It delays his ulti and spirits as well, so it delays his turret's multiplicative, giving enough time to Wukong to ramp up quicker and win the game. Kayn is a major win condition, his AOE skill delay is invaluable, and getting 1-on-1 with any carry will net you the win. Slamming RFC early game can discourage the rest of the lobby contesting you, and most importantly, it can prevent a Spirit Jet player going for it if he doesn't have many bows. The comp right now is uncontested, so committing early while the rest of the lobby hold hands on Moonlight units can net you some sweet LP. Are you a BONKEY Kong player? Share your experience and knowledge with us in the comment section below, helping others excel in this comp. As always, your insight is what makes me and my audience better. If you like this video, take a second to subscribe, like and hit that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next one. Now get out there and farm some LP using the crazy Wongo Bongo ape.